Murder trial of Lindsay Clancy is set to resume today, Monday, when prosecutors will present their rebuttal witnesses. Clancy's defense was heavily focusing on her mental health and the treatment that she received leading up to the killings of her 3 children. Her attorneys are arguing that she was suffering from postpartum psychosis. Prosecutors say that she acted deliberately and with sound mind. Clancy could face life in prison if convicted. For more on all of this, I want to go now to Nima Rahmani. He's a former federal prosecutor and also the president of West Coast Trial Lawyers. Nima, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Polo. As always, big day for both the prosecution and the defense in Massachusetts.
Absolutely, and I really want to get your thoughts on the prosecution. But first, though, let me play for you and our viewers just some of the testimony that jurors will soon be considering. What you're about to hear is the defense's last witness, psychiatrist Philip Resnick, and listen to what he told jurors about what he believed was Clancy's state of mind the day of the killings.
She had what is known as a delusion of influence. That is, not only did she hear a command, but she felt that her body was taken over by an external force where she was in a dream state and did not have control of her own body. It was almost like she was a puppet and someone else was pulling the strings.
That she had no control of her body the day of those murders. So what do you make of that? And just how compelling do you expect the jury to find that doctor's testimony?
It's very strong and compelling, Polo, and this is why. If you're the defense or the prosecution for that matter, you want to start strong and you want to end strong. And the defense started with Lindsay Clancy's mother, a very powerful witness, followed by her mother-in-law, Patrick's mother, the husband, ex-husband. And then they ended very strong with the psychiatrist, and this is why it's relevant. Under Massachusetts law, one can be found not criminally responsible, which is the equivalent of insane in most states, if either one of 2 things are true. They don't understand the wrongfulness of their actions, and that's only possible because the 2 previous witnesses, including the hospital chaplain and the psychologist, testified that Clancy was hearing voices telling her to kill her children so they could be safe. But there's a second way to get there. If you're unable to conform your actions to the law, basically you don't have control, and that's precisely what this defense expert said. So you've really covered both bases of legal insanity or criminal responsibility there in Massachusetts. So really, it's going to be very difficult for the prosecution to get 12 out of 12 jurors to disagree here.
On that note, Nima, the state has maintained that Clancy acted intentionally and had also planned her children's killings. What's your assessment of the prosecution's performance so far, their case?
At the beginning of this case, I thought there was very little chance that Clancy would be acquitted or the jury would hang because these acts were so heinous, and they had evidence of premeditation in the weeks and days leading up to the murders. But I think the defense has really covered a lot of ground in this past week, and you could tell by the fact that they've really shortened their presentation. I do think the defense thinks they're ahead. And of course, social media is no barometer, but if you are really following this case, and this is probably the biggest case in social media, maybe since Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard, there are really strong differing opinions on both sides. So I do think the defense has scored enough points for at least the casual viewer who was watching, and there's people that are watching this case gavel to gavel every single day, that there's enough division here that I think the defense has created reasonable doubt.
We're seeing some videos you were speaking to, Nima, of some of these supporters wearing pink. These Clancy supporters wearing pink outside of the courthouse. We've seen them throughout much of the presentation of testimony. Just culturally, how has this case highlighted the issue of maternal mental health? I mean, we saw and heard testimony that Clancy herself had this desire to be able to seek treatment to address that.
Well, there's no doubt that this case has raised even more awareness. I think one reason this case is better than your typical insanity case is the fact that you have this well-documented history of mental illness, 12 different prescription medications, some of them antipsychotic medications, her voluntarily checking herself into an inpatient facility, desperately begging friends, family members for help. You don't typically have that. And I think what you're seeing, the support outside, all those women wearing pink, similar to actually the Karen Reed case that ended up in essentially an acquittal, not once, but twice. When you have this much support for an accused murderer, in this case an admitted murderer, you have to be thinking, if you're the Commonwealth, if you're the prosecution here, that you're potentially in a world of hurt. And one thing you're seeing this support, and we're seeing a lot of women, we're really seeing a clear divide here. There's a lot of women, especially mothers, who have suffered through this, that are really pro Lindsay Clancy, and then some other types who haven't given birth to children, and many men who think that she's guilty and she should spend the rest of her life in state prison. So the divide is fascinating, and the reason I'm bringing that up is the jury, we don't know what 12 are going to deliberate, but the 18 total, including alternates, they consist of 12 women and 6 men. So that ratio, again, broad generalization, bodes well for the defense.
Without a doubt, long after this verdict is read, this will certainly leave a lasting imprint on society. Monty, really appreciate you helping us just break all this down. We know you'll be watching in the days ahead. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Paul.
All right, now to the case of a Texas teacher who's pleading for the release of her Venezuelan husband, who's been detained by ICE for more than 6 months now. And that's Carolina Piguero with her story.
Neither one of us know when we're going to see each other again, and I don't know when I'll get the call to bring him home with me.
Heather Alambarrio, a teacher and U.S. citizen, is moving mountains, hoping to be reunited with the love of her life, her husband Jose Rafael Alambarrio Cárdenas. He has been held in an ICE detention center for more than 6 months.
My husband is kept in a place like that. Such a beautiful and kind person. And there's thousands of Rafaels, hundreds of thousands across our country in this similar situation. And the way that tells
Heather and Rafael met during salsa lessons, and months later they married in 2025 and filed a stop petition with immigration authorities. They attended their routine ICE appointment in Dallas, Texas, until the last one turned into their worst nightmare, where he was detained.
And I waited, and after about 45 minutes, the door opened, and I walked out, and she looked at me, and she just shook her head.
CNN confirmed through court documents and Rafael's attorney that he doesn't have a criminal record. He entered the United States from Venezuela in 2023 and upon arrival applied for a political asylum. He passed his credible fear interview, but that case is still under review by the federal government. The Department of Homeland Security says Alambarrio Cárdenas is expected to remain in ICE custody while his immigration proceedings are resolved.
We had submitted all of, our documents and even had our interview, so we felt like, if anyone was okay, Rafael would be okay.
After spending several months in the Pearland Detention Center in Texas, Rafael was transferred to the Adams County Correctional Center in the state of Mississippi. We spoke to him through a video call.
¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo te sientes?
To be honest, I feel like I'm back in my country because the way things are being handled are the same way like back home.
Despite the distance and missing their first wedding anniversary, Rafael shares the love he has for his wife.
The love of an immigrant, it's not easy, but I never thought it would be this difficult. I love Heather more than anything, and she has shown me the same. And that's what keeps me strong here.
This is not the first case of immigrants married to U.S. citizens being detained by ICE, which is why Heather wants to send this message.
Our country is a country that is great because of our Constitution and the rights and check and balances, and we need the balances and the checks to be working for us.
Carolina Piguero, CNN, Dallas.
And still on the way, the Iranian regime focused on the conflict. While that was happening, enforcement of jobs had eased. But now, hardliners are cracking down on women's dress codes again. We'll explain. Well, New York, and these are today's top stories. Nearly 90,000 people around Reno, Nevada are being told to evacuate or prepare to leave, and this as the hawk fire rages out of control. Forecasters say that high temperatures and windy conditions could get even worse later today, making efforts to contain the fire even more difficult. British Prime Minister Andy Burnham is in Kyiv, marking Ukraine's Independence Day during his first trip abroad since taking office. Mr. Burnham will be sitting down with President Volodymyr Zelensky. Later, they'll be co-chairing talks with the Coalition of the Willing, aimed at bolstering support for Ukraine's security and defense. The U.S. is expected to announce new sanctions against Iran later today. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent warned of an economic D-Day that is coming for Iran. Bessent also put Iran's allies on notice and vowed to impose tremendous economic consequences, he said, on countries that do business with Tehran. Meanwhile, hardliners in Iran, they are once again enforcing mandatory dress codes for women, but many women are choosing not to wear their headscarves. CNN's Giovanna Karachi has the details.
This woman is being publicly shamed by another woman for showing her bare legs in Iran. Eventually, officers arrive and make her put on pants. This scene is being played out in cities across the country. The focus seems to be turning back to how women are allowed to dress. At the height of the war, women without headscarves were even seen at pro-government gatherings. The regime seemed to have bigger priorities, but now hardliners are pushing the hijab back on the agenda. Cafe-based restaurants and shops are being shut down for failing to enforce mandatory dress codes. Hardline clerics are demanding tougher enforcement. This cleric speaking directly to President Masoud Pezeshkian. But there's a problem for the regime. Iranian women are not backing down. 4 years ago, the death of Mahsa Jina Amini in custody after being detained by the so-called morality police ignited the women life freedom protest. The uprising was brutally suppressed. Widespread acts of defiance survived. Today, women walk through Iranian cities without headscarves and ride motorcycles through Tehran, Shiraz, and Isfahan. As the war with the U.S. seems to stall, the whole confrontation is bubbling up.
That's the explosion that ripped through a building in central Gaza. Residents there said an Israeli strike hit the property after its owners were warned to leave the area. Palestinian health officials say that at least 2 people, including a young boy, were killed in 2 separate airstrikes in Gaza on Sunday. One Palestinian man describing the ongoing desperation in his territory.
There is no ceasefire. There is nothing. There is nothing. Our lives are destroyed. Our youth are destroyed. What can we do? We want solutions. We want to live in peace. This does not make sense. This does not make sense. It's true these things are happening to other people, but I am also human. I see these things. People falling to pieces. We die. Our morale is destroyed.
If you live for the game, don't let pain hold you back.
Welcome back. You're up to speed on the markets, and here are your business headlines. A U.S. Federal Reserve official warning that the central bank is unlikely to reach its 2% inflation target until the war with Iran ends. Consumer prices in the U.S. are climbing since the war started in February. Despite the dour outlook, the Minneapolis Fed president says that the bank is absolutely committed to reaching its 2% goal. U.S. gas prices are up more than 37% since the U.S. and Israel launched its war with Iran. According to the latest data from AAA, the national average for a gallon of gas is now $4.10. The gas isn't the only thing costing Americans more since the war started. New data now revealing that energy prices are also up over 15% compared to a year ago. The valuation of fast fashion retailer Shein dropping some 70% from its peak 4 years ago. The company is now valued at about $27 billion. It hopes to raise about $1.7 billion with its Hong Kong IPO, which is now underway. Shein expected to start trading on September 1st. Norwegian football star Erling Haaland is expected, actually he started the new soccer season with this new look. Check it out. The Manchester City striker chopping off his famous long blonde locks in favor of this buzz cut. It's pretty good. He revealed this transformation in a now viral social media post. His long blonde hair made him one of the most recognizable players during Norway's run at the 2026 World Cup. He's a really good player. We'll take a quick break. For our viewers in North America, I'll have more of your news in a moment. For our international viewers, it's Sport Minute.
Checking your pets at 5 p.m. is clear that the affordability crisis is not a hoax and nothing short of transformational policy change is acceptable. A source familiar with the matter tells me that during this sit-down, Kushner suggested that at some point, Jeffries meet with White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, who of course plays a key role in much of what takes place here at the White House. With just 10 weeks now until the midterm.
I hear your hum a soft song. You smile and look at me. Just another ordinary day, but somehow it feels so sweet. But we went out to buy some things, a few apples, something sweet. We carried home a little bag. I walked beside you down the street. Later we cooked together, music playing in a room. You danced around the kitchen and I smiled watching you. Nothing special happened, nothing big and new, but when I saw you smiling, the whole thing felt brand new. Maybe happiness isn't somewhere far away. Maybe it's sitting beside me on an ordinary day. Just like that, an ordinary day became my favorite one. Just like that, you sat beside me while the summer cicada sung. Just like that, your little hair was resting in mine. I don't need anything bigger. Having you here feels just right. Cicada sing, just right. Just an ordinary day, and I love it because like this. Tonight we stay at home, sitting out upon the balcony. You tell me little stories, I listen quietly, glass of water on the table, an old song playing low, a wooden float somewhere outside drifts softly through the night. So I'm really busy with 1,000 things to do, but right now you're here beside me, so I wanna stay with you. So all the first to say that, but they stay inside the heart, a little smile, a good thing start. Just like that, an ordinary day became my favorite one. Just like that, you sat beside me when the summer cicada sung. Just like that, your little hand was resting in mine. I don't need anything bigger. Having you here feels just right. You smile a little simple joy. Cicadas sing outside, sunlight falls through the blinds. You sit beside the window.
You have to try it sometime.
I will.
Later we cook together.
Other people credit what you need.
Nick, I appreciate you pressing me on that. Let me be real with you. I was talking about giving credit to the people around you.
It creeps me out because like somebody's literally talked to it before and was like, I literally thought you had a conversation with me. So I don't have the video part on.
Okay.
So that was weird. But
so if the tech there catches up, will you do so I can look at you?
Absolutely, yeah, I'll do it. Because I'm curious about it. I'm an innovator.
Not gonna lie, I would live for that. I live for that.
He's already launched Pastor GPT, which helps other pastors write sermons, and his little church offers coding classes and uses AI to handle the earthly and mundane.
Like I went to school to preach the gospel and teach the gospel here for God's people. I did not go to school to teach people.
So AI is giving you more time to be human.
Absolutely. AI, man, gives me more time to be a better father, be a better husband, to be a better pastor in hospital visits. I don't have to be 5 minutes, I can be 20.
But can AI do this?
When I watch you preach, you know, I see and I feel humanity, I see frailty, I feel all these human things.
Absolutely.
Can you really bottle that into a number?
Oh no. So AI cannot feel.
You're also not creating something that's going to replace you.
No, I think they're pretty cool. And so no.
We're not going to be replacing the pastor.
No.
We're going to be having weird virtual churches with no humans.
No, I think what we see is an expansion of the church happening.
Okay.
An expansion of love, an expansion of humanity.
If you try and make the AI twin talk about something random, weird, someone tried Swedish politics. It will not engage. The bot will only talk about things that the real man himself knows about. Also, if you bring up something very serious, homicide, suicide, violence, abuse, the bot will say, that's too much for me, call the pastor. As the poetic pastor himself says, rivers are great because of the banks. AI is great with guardrails. Maybe that's a lesson for the wider world as well. Back to you.
And a lesson that AI religion is here. Thank you so much for joining me this hour. I'm Polo Sandoval in New York. I'll be right back with you in a moment with more of your headlines here on CNN Newsroom.
Managing asthma can keep you second guessing.